I know that this video is already incredibly long, and for the whole truth to get out there, I think that it had to be. But I actually did just have a couple personal notes that I wanted to drop, things that are really important, things that I have bottled up, and so I'm just going to go ahead and say them. When I saw your video, at first I couldn't watch it because it was just blatant lies. It was taking videos completely out of context and making them look like, just because you had these pieces of video meant that was the whole story right there. And you have people who look up to you, people who followed you who followed you for years, who think that they know you because you smile and have fun on camera, because you show everyone what a great life you live. So that means that you're a good guy. And you had people like defending you, and you actually said something that I thought was interesting, is that the only court that matters is the court of public opinion. And that's not the only court that matters. That might be the only court where you're found innocent. But legitimately, there's a court that you are going to, and that court's going to matter a lot. It's going to have a lot of sway over your life. People's opinion of you isn't going to change your life. That's why I personally don't necessarily care about swaying public opinion. I just care about the truth getting out there, because it's something that's been weighing on me. It's something that's been kind of messing with me. And you instigated a lot of this stuff that if you had just left things alone, these videos wouldn't have even come out. So for you to say the only court that matters is public opinion, maybe to you, dude, but there's one that's going to have a lot more sway over your life. And so that's another thing. And speaking of truth, lies, court of public opinion, whatever. I do want to point this out in case no one's really thought about it. But when someone's telling the truth, the story has a clear beginning, middle, end, sprinkled in anecdotes. Sometimes there's rabbit trails you go down. Sometimes it's your own personal quirks. But you are actually coherent about where your story's going. And sometimes you have to backtrack because you're like, well, actually, this is important and I forgot to mention it, so I got to go back. When someone's scripting lies, first of all, you straight up look like you're scripting it. You don't speak things as if something's actually happening to you. Not that I should be giving you advice on how to lie more convincingly, because honestly, you're pretty good at it. But so in your video, you're not telling stories. You spend all your time making statements to discredit the people coming against you and victimizing yourself. There's a difference between being a victim and victimizing yourself to make you look like you're the one that's in trouble. Oh man, my only fault is that I'm too caring. Like, are you kidding me? I can name so many faults that you have. And also, if you were so caring about these women with these poor mental conditions, as you point out, because I can't even tell you how many assistants that you told me that you had that were crazy. If you really cared about them, why would you blast them on social media, which everyone knows is a pretty dangerous place for people with mental health issues? That internet can be a really toxic environment. So why would you throw someone to the wolves that way if you really cared about their well-being? So I wanted to point that out. Second of all, actually, you know what? I didn't know that because I blocked you, or rather, we just wouldn't speak to each other because we weren't on good terms. And I wasn't watching your videos and you didn't speak about it and I didn't come out with it. So I honestly didn't know whether or not I had any effect on you. I didn't know. I kind of assumed, but I didn't know that anything that I did had any effect on you. until you launched a video where you directly called me out. And honestly, Jason, I really wish that little voice tremor that you did about being slandered and your wife and your kids, and they have to see it, which they do, and that sucks for them. I'm sorry, but I really wish that voice tremor was real, because that would honestly make me really happy. You attacked me incredibly hard when I actually hadn't really come forward with anything yet. I had made like a couple comments on Jade's stuff, so which leads me to wonder, why would you be so direct at antagonizing me, unless maybe you thought, or rather you knew, that I had a lot against you? Actually, because of the blatant lies that you told, I don't know if you actually, maybe you deleted those texts and you didn't know that I still had them, or maybe you thought that I'd be too scared to talk about them. But either way, that was a dumb move. I mean, for your one chance, you sure blew it, dude. So, yeah, honestly, by the time I did finish that video, I actually felt pretty good, because as a victim, not every victim gets to have the satisfaction of knowing that they're getting to the person that they're speaking out against. And I am getting that satisfaction. It's clear by the lies that you've been telling and the just spiraling that we're seeing. So, yeah. Also, dude, who are you? R. Kelly? Like, did you think that the angrier you look, the more innocent that you'd be, or the more innocent you look? Like, you seriously look like R. Kelly yelling at that interviewer. So, yeah, that's the end of that. There's a difference between telling your story and telling it right, and wanting someone to believe a certain lie, so everything you say will cater to that lie. You'll take things out of context, videos where they shouldn't have been, conversations where you don't even show the full conversation, and using those to make your lie look believable. Two completely different things. Telling a story, wanting someone to believe a lie, so you point things to the fact that that you're innocent and that this is the lie you should be believing. So, yeah. And one last thing, because it is very important, and while I'm very human in how I'm expressing my anger, I do want to point out that when I was working for you, I was not the woman that I am today. I had dreams of succeeding, and people, looking at my work and seeing my talent and wanting to work with me. And I had an opportunity, or what I thought was, the chance of a lifetime, to make those dreams come true. And I foolishly let so much go on. And I did so much to try to make you happy and keep my job. But that was me then. And in October of last year, I became a Christian, which I know it's kind of like, whoa, that's a little out of left field for this video. But I seriously wouldn't be finishing telling the story if I didn't include it, because one of the things about knowing that you're not the mistakes that you've made, and that you can be a broken, horrible, ugly mess and be turned into something beautiful and something that you can't ever take away from me. And honestly, the reason why I don't care what people think about this video when it comes to, whether it's a he said, she said thing, is because I know the truth. And at the end of both of our lives, after you're dead and after I'm dead, I know where I'm going, and I know where you're going. But the cool thing is that you still have a chance to turn around and be a good person. And honestly, that's a God thing, because it's certainly something that I would never give you. So, honestly, maybe you should start practicing what you preach when you say that you're a Christian man and that you've got these great values and God's with you. Maybe you should practice what you preach and start getting in touch with him, dude, because with the way that you are, the way that you've been, and the evil that I've seen in you, at the end of this life, whether you completely trash me and turn me into dust in the eyes of the world, that won't matter when I'm gone. And it'll matter a lot when you are. So, and I'm still working on forgiveness, because I don't know what that means when you're so invested, or rather when the person who hurt you still tries to hurt you all the time. And I think that one day I will, but that's going to take a little bit of work from the good Lord. So, honestly, I am in a better place in my life than I think that you ever will be, unless you change. So I don't envy you at all. And whether you get your due justice in this world, you'll get it in the next. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I feel like I had something else to say. And a lot bottled up. Oh, I remember what it was. You said in your video that I wasn't going to break you, and I'm probably not going to. But I have found a bond with the other victims that I stand beside, that I stand with, and they stand with me. And while you may be able to break a string, it's really hard to break a rope. So, and also, a couple weeks ago, randomly, I don't remember why, but I thought of you, which I do a lot, randomly, because it comes up, like most traumas do. And I remember praying. I had kind of, in the past, just kind of disregarded you and just been like, it's done, I'll let the investigation handle it. But for the first time in a long time, maybe a week or so ago, I prayed to God to give me justice and for you to see justice. And like 4 days later, Jade comes out with this post about her experience, and it opens up a huge storm. And at first it was, I couldn't believe that I was being dragged back into my own trauma. But now I'm just wondering if God's answering my prayers. And if he is, buddy, you better... I'm just saying, if God's on my side, then there's nothing that you can do. That your goose is already cooked, bud. So...